You can love nature, but still hate the tyranny the green movement now imposes.
The proposed Pebble mine is a disaster waiting to happen.
That ad comes from one of America's richest environmental groups, the NRDC, the National Resources Defense Council.
Imagine this natural paradise destroyed by a 2,000-foot gaping hole in the ground.
The man who wants to dig the gaping hole is Tom Collier. He's a Democrat who once managed environmental policy for Al Gore, Bill Clinton. You consider yourself an environmentalist?
I do.
After his environmental policy work, Tom saw opportunity in Alaska.
This is the single largest deposit of gold and silver that is not being developed in the entire world.
Not being developed because the EPA stopped it.
They're proposing killing our project before an environmental impact statement has been done.
Tom's firm hired hundreds of people to conduct a scientific study of this land so they could ask for permission to begin digging. Usually the EPA waits for that and then does its own study before it determines the fate of a project. But in this case, the EPA rejected the mine before Pebble even got its application in. You used to have 400 people working on this.
Yes, we did.
Now?
3.
It's like a ghost town here.
Myrtle Anilon ran Graham's Bed and Breakfast. But when Pebble shut down, she shut down too. So did most of the village.
There's nothing. There's no one here to lease or rent buildings.
We're all stuck here, the people that live here without jobs, without economy, with bills, and wondering how we're going to survive.
When Pebble ramped up, Lisa Reimer's company employed 215 people. Only 6 remain.
I'm sorry, when you see your people struggling and you have to let them go because there's no jobs here, and they're angry at you because they think it's your fault, it's really difficult.
And whose fault was it? The environmental groups, says Lisa.
The environmental groups ran these ads. They made people believe on TV that everything was going to die.
Save Bristol Bay from the threat of the Pebble mine.
You're going to kill all the salmon.
The things that NRDC is talking about are from an age far in the past. Now you can build a safe mine. There are 2 fairly significant mines that sit right on the edge of the Fraser River. It's the 2nd largest sockeye salmon fishery in the world. No problem with the salmon.
But the NRDC got Robert Redford to say,
the EPA has confirmed that the Pebble mine, a massive gold and copper mine, would devastate Bristol Bay.
If you hear something over and over and over on TV and that's the information you get, then you start believing those lies. And then when we went to visit a mine, we realized the tailing pond isn't how they showed it on TV.
Huge earthen dams up to 50 stories tall, holding back billions of tons of mining waste.
nearly enough to bury the city of Seattle, Washington. All the mine waste that would come out.
It's sand that's behind the tailings facility. It's not some massive toxic sludge. It's sand, all right? If the dam breaks, the sand doesn't go anywhere. I've never seen anybody do what EPA has done.
Why?
here.
Are you surprised? Government always grows.
No, not like this.
Well, these are not evil people who just want to hurt you. They must
No,
really
I believe
feel...
these are in fact zealots. Now, zealots don't necessarily have to be evil, but they decided to kill this project before any science had been done, and there are memos that show that.
There are incriminating memos. Nancy Stoner, an EPA regulator, coincidentally used to work for NRDC. She wrote her former colleagues.
Look, you can't directly ask me to meet with you, but if you ask somebody else and have a few other people there, then I can meet with you.
The EPA is supposed to be independent, but it often isn't. They're very close, aren't they? The NRDC guys go to work for... They're sleeping with each other?
Figuratively. Nancy Stoner leaves NRDC, goes to EPA, and immediately is involved in the decision to kill this mine when that's one of the top priorities of NRDC.
Nancy Stoner did not respond to our questions. She's now left the government and works for another environmental group.
This mine would destroy 90 miles of streams.
Bob Dean speaks for the NRDC. Your people are working for the EPA now. And EPA people come to work for the NRDC, colluding with big liberal regulators.
NRDC is a source of expertise, and sometimes the government takes advantage of that.
This is the beautiful bay they're worried about. I assumed the Pebble mine was right next to this bay, but No, it turns out it's 90 miles away, the distance between Baltimore and Philadelphia.
It is frustrating for me that someone that does not live here come here and dictate and tell us what we cannot do. Because we live here.
You're just wrecking poor people's lives. This would create jobs.
We created 50,000 new jobs in this country, putting up wind turbines, solar panels, building the next generation of energy efficient cars. This is where the future is.
We also need copper and gold, and those are jobs too.
Well, that's right, and we have to weigh those risks.
There are some mines where NRDC says, great, go ahead.
Well, it's not up to us.
Are there any?
Yeah, it's not up to us to greenlight mines, but what we do is...
Are there any you don't complain about?
Oh yeah, sure.
We asked him for some names. We're still waiting. Listening to you, I'd think America would be uninhabitable, but nature's resilient. Mount Novarupta blew up near Bristol Bay in 1912. One of the worst volcanoes ever. The volcano couldn't destroy Bristol Bay. What makes you think one carefully regulated mining company will?
If volcanoes were corporations that operated for profit, we would like to ensure that volcanoes not blow up and do natural disasters.
It doesn't matter if you're going to build a bridge or a road or drill oil or timber, they're against everything.
Tim Laporte runs an air taxi company.
We get calls consistently for people looking for jobs. There just literally are no jobs in the area.
Matt Wren worked for Pebble as a maintenance technician.
Having Pebble here gave people a reason to stay sober, to get up and do their job every day, to have responsibility and a sense of pride in the fact that they were bringing an income to their families.
Pebble is just one project environmentalists have stopped. Here's actress Daryl Hannah saying, "Stop to Keystone."
The pipeline decision could be postponed.
The lack of progress on the Keystone SL pipeline.
It was 7 years ago when a company first applied for permission to build the pipeline. First, activists in Canada chained themselves to equipment to stop people from getting to the oil.
This is a toxic industry, and the only future that it's going to lead us to is a toxic one.
When your bulldozers try to cross our line,
while in Nebraska,
every single person will be here saying, no, not in our land, not in our water.
Jane Klebe and her activists have so far stopped Keystone in her state. How much have you slowed it down, personally?
I think we've slowed it down 6 years here.
And if President Obama tomorrow said, okay, go ahead, would it be built?
Not in Nebraska. TransCanada could not lay a single ounce of pipe for at least 3 years because of all the legal challenges that landowners have right now.
I've come to Cushing, an oil town.
Further south along the pipeline route, the president stopped in Cushing, Oklahoma. Although his administration had delayed the pipeline, here he said he'd speed the process.
Today I'm directing my administration to cut through the red tape, break through the bureaucratic hurdles, and make this project a priority. To go ahead and get it done.
He approved the pipeline, but only from Oklahoma to Texas.
It was very exciting. Hotels popped up, restaurants were packed.
But then,
President Obama has vetoed a bill from Congress to authorize construction of the Keystone SL pipeline.
This company had a contract to build Keystone's pipes. Now they sit in this warehouse. The owner calls it a steel wasteland.
You can see the dust that's collected over the years. There's probably $3 to $4 million sitting here waiting to be put into the ground. We probably have another $1 million worth of equipment sitting outside, just waiting.
They want as many pipelines as they can get to make as much
so
money
what?
as they
That's
want.
Build America. You've seen the chart with all the pipelines. This is what's powered our prosperity.
We have enough oil in the United States right now.
You're depriving people of actual shovel-ready jobs, thousands of them, and now you're saying stop?
We are, and you're right, about 2,000 construction jobs would be generated by building Keystone XL.
They want to bring in more life-saving oil.
No, they want to bring in more carbon pollution-producing oil, rather than us as the United States say no. Actually, this time, no.
People used to say NIMBY. You can build, just not in my backyard. Now it's roughly banana. Build absolutely nothing, anywhere, near anybody. With Keystone and projects like yours, I would think people who would want to build something would say, don't come to America.
They're saying it already. This is green tyranny.
and the tyrants get their way. Keystone and the Pebble mine are stopped.
You shouldn't be for resources, you shouldn't be for development, you shouldn't be for anything to better your life or have a good life. You should just shut up and go back to living the way we think you should. God gave us the minerals. He didn't just put it there for no reason. This is our home. We don't want anything to happen to it.